Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're actually just gonna go over 7 things or 7 habits that I think you should start implementing as soon as you get paid. Now, if you're one of those people whereby as soon as you get paid, the money goes into your checking account and then how you budget is kind of by like eyeball, right? So you're like, money goes in and then you're like, ooh, I got X amount. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna go out for lunch here. Ooh, I got that bill that needs to come out. Boom, that gets direct debited. And then, you keep doing that. And then the next thing you know, right? The next thing you know, you're 3 days away from your next paycheck, but you're kind of living on like 20 bucks or $50 left and you're just trying to scrape by to the next paycheck. Now, if it might not be that dramatic, but you get the point, right? Now, if that is you, you might want to pay attention to this video because these 7 habits will put you into a really good position to not only better handle your money, but also actually start building up a pretty decent savings account. Hey guys, before we get into the first one, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, just to let you know when I put up the next video. I make a video every week just trying to help you get a little bit better with handling your money and also just trying to maybe teach you a thing or two about investing and hopefully add some value to your life, right? And hopefully get you a little bit closer to your financial goals. But with that being said, let's get into the first one. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do when you get paid is contribute to your KiwiSaver or your 401k. Now this one is actually technically before you even get paid, right? Because this actually gets deducted before it gets into your checking account. But the reason why I bring this one up is because the amount of times I actually, come across people and have chat to people, and when it comes up to KiwiSaver, the amount of times I hear people say, I have just started a year ago. I don't want to do that because I don't like that I can't touch that money when I need it. Right? Because that's not the point of the KiwiSaver, right? It's not for you. It's not a savings account for you per se, right? It's there to build and compound and build your wealth for the future, right? So contribute to your KiwiSaver, and sometimes people will skimp out on this because they feel like they'll get paid a bigger amount. You know what I mean? If you save that 3%, then you don't have to pay it out and you'll actually get that money. But you won't even notice that it's gone, right? First off, because it gets deducted before you actually get paid. And that money will actually do better in building your wealth than you putting it into a savings account, right? So contribute to your KiwiSaver. Start off with the minimum. You don't have to do something crazy like the 6, 8, 12%. Just do something, just start off with the minimum 3%, whatever your employer can match. You do that if you can afford to, but at least start off with the minimum, because at least that way, the thing about investing is the earlier you get into it, the better off you will be in the long run. Okay, so that's the first tip. Really make sure you're contributing to your KiwiSaver. Don't try to skimp out on it. And obviously go into it with a different mindset, not with the mindset that this is a savings account for you to fall back on. Go into it with the mindset that this is to build wealth for you in the long term. Okay, so tip number 2, and that is pay yourself first. Now, you've probably heard me say this in a previous video, but I'm reiterating it here because it's really important, and this is by far the best way to actually start building a savings account, a really good savings account, right? Now, pay yourself first is a very, very simple concept, and that's simply before you pay any bills, before you buy anything nice for yourself, before you actually spend a single dollar, when you get paid, you actually want to transfer that money into a separate savings account. And so this idea stems from the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. I've mentioned this before in a previous video, but basically you want to put away 10% of your gross income, right? So that's the rule of thumb, if you want to say, but you want to put aside 10% of your gross income, set it up as an automatic payment. I find that that's the best way to do this and the best way to go about this, right? So you don't have to start off with 10% of your gross income, right? Now, if you've got other things that you really, really need to take care of, like you're really deep in debt, don't start off with 10%, right? Start off with 5, start off with 3, but do something, start off small and slowly build your way up, right? Now, if you set it up as an automatic payment on the same day that you get paid, you'll never see that money and you won't even notice it, to be quite honest with you, right? So you will find a way to make do with what's left over, especially if you start to implement the rest of the habits that I'm going to go over. So that's the second tip, pay yourself first. And now for tip number 3, and that is to pay your necessities right now, or get an understanding of what your necessities are. And when I say necessities, I mean your bills, right? Your rent, your water bill, your electricity bill, your groceries. Make sure you have money set aside for these things, having a good understanding of how much money is actually required on a monthly or fortnightly basis. However those bills go out for you, make sure you have these in front of you and you have enough money to obviously pay for these, right? So set that aside as well. You can even set this into a separate account. So as soon as it goes into your checking account, because most of these bills are fixed, right? So something like your internet bill, maybe not your water and electricity bill, but you get a rough idea of every month of what you're going to be spending or paying on those bills. So what you can do is from your checking account, you can have the money that's automatic payment into a separate savings account for paying yourself first, and then you can have a separate account that you will transfer money to, and that's just for your bills, right? And the reason why you want to make sure this one is done is because obviously, you know, if you don't pay the electricity, you got no electricity, right? You don't pay the rent, you got nowhere to live. So you got to make sure your necessities are taken care of. Your groceries, so make sure you do your grocery shopping. You have a good understanding of how much you spend on a weekly, fortnightly basis for your groceries, and you put that amount aside as well. Okay, now you take care of all of these things, and that's tip number 3. Make sure all the necessities are taken care of. And also, guys, this doesn't mean by necessities your Netflix account, your streaming services. I wouldn't count those as necessities because you can live without Netflix, you know, you can live without Disney Plus, right? So make sure your necessities are looked after. Make sure you're not left out on the street if you miss a bill. So that's tip number 3. And now for tip number 4, and this one is actually a really, really important one as well. And that's to make sure you contribute and build up your emergency fund. Okay, now an emergency fund is a separate fund. Now this is going to be separate from your savings account. This is going to be separate from your bills and everything, separate from your checking account. And this fund is literally there just for emergencies, right? Like, and I mean, like your car breaks down, you have no other money to pay for it. You know, you don't have any money in your checking account. You obviously need your car to go to work. So that's what your emergency fund is there for, right? It's, as Charlie Munger would say, it's for the vicissitudes of life, right? So make sure you build up your emergency fund. Now try to at least have at least $1,000 set aside for this, right? You can build it up until $1,000, and then you can sort of prioritize building up your, other things, but at least try to have $1,000 on, in this account, and you just leave it there. And you want to put it in a place that's pretty liquid, that's easy for you to get to, that you can get to, just like that. Because again, an emergency can happen with, whenever, basically, right? So make sure you have an emergency fund built up. And now you can do this slowly by, just every week putting aside, $50, $100, whatever you can kind of put aside to build up your emergency fund, right? Now, for me personally, sometimes when I was trying to build up my emergency fund, obviously I would put aside, like $50, $100 a week into it. But then, there's some weeks where you end up not really spending as much as you sort of planned out to, and you have money left over. And then I'll actually just chuck whatever is left over into my emergency fund. That's obviously if you don't have any debts or anything like that. But that's, the importance of an emergency fund, again, just to reiterate it, is that you want money there when you need it, right? And this is strictly for emergencies, right? The worst case scenario, that's what you have that money there for. It's sort of your last line of defense, your little cushion. And it also will give you, some peace of mind knowing that you have something there to sort of cushion the blow if anything crazy should happen, right? So make sure you have your emergency fund set up. Make sure you build it up slowly and at least have $1,000 in there. So now that you've got your emergency fund set up, you assign money towards your bills, your necessities, you put aside money for your savings. Now it's time for you to tackle debt. Now, if you have any debts, this is the time for you to start tackling it and bringing that down, right? This is kind of like that ball and chain that's kind of dragging you down, that's holding you back, right? So to pay down debt, I've literally just put up a video. I'll link it up now, and how to pay debt. And you can use either the avalanche method or the snowball method, where you really attack one either by attacking the highest interest rates and really, mathematically, which makes sense, which will save you money in the long run, or you can use the snowball method, which is gonna attack the one with the lowest dollar amount, which will give you those little wins and kind of build up your momentum into tackling all the other debts, right? So number 5 is pay down your debts, right? And just pay down the minimum on everything else, on whatever you owe, and then tackle either the largest interest rate or either the smallest in dollar amounts, and try to get those and try to become debt free, okay? Because as soon as you become debt free, you're gonna realize that you actually have a lot more disposable income when you don't have all this money going out to your credit cards, your personal loans, your car payment, to your student loan. that's another way to kind of to increase your income, right? Is paying down money that you owe to people. And that'll obviously give you a little bit more freedom and a little bit more wiggle room to sort of work with your money, right? So pay down debt, that's number 5. Now, I know so far it seems like all we've been doing is paying off bills, saving money, putting money aside, but when do you actually get to spend money, right? And this is sometimes why a lot of people will struggle with the budget, is because you start to feel like you have to sacrifice anything that's fun in your life, right? But that's not necessarily true, right? So for me, number 6 is to actually then kind of plan out a little entertainment budget for yourself, right? So what I do every fortnight, because I get paid every fortnight, is I will actually have a set amount that I'll spend on entertainment. And for me, I like to eat out a lot. I like to eat out with my family, like go movies and, have drinks every now and then. So because those are things I really enjoy, that's where I'll budget my money, right? So, if you're someone that enjoys doing things like that, then have money set aside for things like that, right? You still want to be able to enjoy your life and, live a little bit, right? You don't want to be just hoarding money, hoarding cash, and just kind of living like a little hermit you know what I mean? So for number 6, have a budget, have a set amount that you're going to use for entertainment purposes. Now, how you use that money is completely up to you. Whatever you enjoy doing, this is where you get to assign money to that. Now, be reasonable, right? Now, just because you have a budget, it doesn't mean, you get paid $1,000 and then you assign $500 to this, right? Now, within reason, you want to at least have, some money. You want to at least put aside some money so that you can enjoy yourself a little bit and enjoy your hard-earned money, your hard-earned cash. Right now, nothing too crazy. You're not going out on a boat party every weekend, but just enough to satisfy you and for you to adhere to the plan, to the long-term plan, right? Because that's important too, is because if you feel like you're going to be living miserably for the next 7-10 years doing this, then you're never going to stick to it, right? And that's how sometimes people fall off. And so for me personally, I feel like a big part of sticking to a plan is also making it enjoyable for yourself and giving yourself these little rewards and these little wins. So having an entertainment budget set aside and enjoy yourself a little bit within reason. Okay, so that's number 6. Now, finally, number 7, you've obviously taken care of everything that you need to. You've, paid off your bills, you're saving money, you've got your emergency fund, you've got money to sort of enjoy yourself. Now, what to do now is any extra money that you have left over, or if you can assign this a fixed amounts, at the end of every fortnight. And what you do with that amount now, you guessed it, you're gonna invest that money, okay? So anything that you can put aside extra, you can start putting that into the market or getting that money working for you, right? Now, you can obviously invest in stocks, you can invest in bonds, you can invest in real estate. Real estate is going to be a little bit more capital intensive, but you get the point. You get that money working for you, okay? So, if you have, say, $100, you can put that $100 into an index fund, a low-cost index fund every month, and just do that for years, right? So, and that is going to build up, and the benefit of that, the quicker you do that, the more you're going to take advantage of compound interest, okay? So that's what you do with the rest of your money, is you're going to invest it and you're going to get it working for you, because the worst you can do, again, is just stick it into a bank account. That's actually going to be losing value over time, okay? Guys, I can't stress this enough. You're never going to be able to save your way to financial freedom unless you're earning, $2 million, $1 million a year, which then you're probably not even watching this video. But if you're, just the average Joe like me, you're gonna want to invest and build your money, and you're gonna want to do all these things. We have to do a lot of things, and a lot of things have to go right for us to get there. But it is possible, and you can get there. Okay, so number 7, invest your money. Put it into the stock market, put it into real estate, put it into bonds, whatever it is that you're comfortable in, whatever it is that you understand. Put your money to work for you, and don't just let it sit there. But guys, that is the 7 tips that I have for you in terms of what you should be doing as soon as you get paid, or what you should be doing every time you get paid, right? Let me know down below, what are your thoughts? Are you doing any of these already? Do you have any tips for the rest of us? Comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, if you really liked the video, then please like the video. It does help out quite a bit. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. And again, if you enjoyed this type of video, I've got other videos on the channel. Click on them now. It'll take you to them and hopefully help you get a little bit closer to your financial goals. So other than that, guys, I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.